Welcome, everybody. My name is Esco Zhang, the Chinese and English bilingual. I'll report to you regularly about things happened in China or about China. So in today's video, I think I have three stories, three news. The first one, it is an update of the horrifying murder case in which a middle school teacher was murdered and the remains were buried underneath for like 20 years, and recently his remains has been digged up, and so is the truth. Then not only the main perpetrators has been sentenced to death, his gang members all sentenced. The public officials recently, like 10 public servants sentenced for shouting murder case in central China. It is a continuation of that case. If you don't know, I did a video about this case before. If you can, the main if you don't know, if you want to, you could Google the news about the case. Just Google Xinhuang murder. Xinhuang is a county in Hunan province. Yeah. So when I first saw this news, I was a little bit shocked. By the sentence term. These public officials have been sentenced 10 years, 15 years. Let's see. This is from Xinhua News. Xinhua is a Chinese state media. So the terms ranging from 7 to 15 years. Now, the Huang Bingsong, who was the principal at the number 1 middle school of Xinhuangdong Autonomous County. So he was at that time the principal, and also the perpetrator, the murderer, is his nephew. He gave the contract to his nephew. Because the victim in that case, he was not satisfied with the project. He planned to not sign when the project is finished. Was about to finish. So the murderer, he killed that person. Now, this principal, he already knows the murderer, but he helped to cover it up. And another dude, Yang Jun, former political commissioner of the county's public security bureau. Now, this is like mainly Chinese thing. It's in Chinese we call it 政委. Political commissioner 是公安局政委. Yeah. Commissar. This is some kind of position in Soviet Union when they have this kind of position in Soviet Union, but in China we still have this political commissar. Who is mainly in charge of the political stuff. And also, he can also help with like the daily work, the routine of the organization. So he also sentenced 15 years. Deng Deng Shuisheng, a former detective and a forensic doctor, was sentenced to 14 years in prison. So I was a little bit shocked when I see the sentence. But this case has made it to the national headline. Everybody know about this case, so they want the government. They want an example of it. If you don't know, like China right now, we have a movement. We call it 扫黑除恶. It basically means eradicate the organized crime and eradicate anything evil. This movement is mainly targeting the organized crimes, the gangs. So that gang, the gang was in this case, in the murder case, they were arrested for other crimes, but some of the gang member they snitched probably. So they told the police there was a murder case. So that is why this case is found. During a crackdown campaign against gang-related crime organization crime group led by Du Shaoping, who is a murderer. Yeah. After the murder, his uncle, the principal of the school, sheltered the crime by seeking help from local police security officers and other public servants. They also bribed these officials. According to the verdict of the first trial of the intermediate People's Court of Huaihua in Hunan on December the 19th, Du was sentenced to death. This is a different trial prior to this trial. He was sentenced to death for committing multiple crimes, including homicide and intentionally inflicting injury upon others. He was deprived of his political rights for life and fined 500 yuan. Luo was sentenced to death with 2-year reprieve and was deprived of his political rights for life for intentional homicide. The trial Monday, which is yesterday, was attended by the defendant relative legislators, political advisors, and members of the public. So this is about this case. This is the Chinese reporting. So this is their principle at that time. So when the judge asked him if he planned to appeal, he says no. He said that I'm sorry. 我做错了，对不起。Now this dude is the what is it called? Commissar of the public bureau at that time. They both sentenced to 15 years. So the two dudes, they both said that they will not appeal. Another news is also about the judicial system about China. Recently, China ends forced labor for sex workers. First of all, this is from the BBC. Now, in my opinion, this title is a little bit misleading. Now, if you don't know about the China specifics, you would, as a foreigner, you probably will think that, for sex workers, there are forced labor if they are found. If they are busted, they will face forced labor, which is not the case. China is to end the punishment system for prostitution that allowed police to hold sex workers and their clients in custody for up to 2 years at so-called education centers. Detainees were forced to work allegedly making toys and household goods. Now, you remember that I did a video last time. There was a case, a prisoner held in a prison in Shanghai calling for help, claiming that he was forced to work in that prison. Now, probably this news probably like further solidify my point. Yes, there are to some extent forced labor inside the prison. This is nothing new. Most of many Chinese, we know this, but we just can't say it's forced labor. It's perhaps we could sugarcoat by saying that there's a different definition of forced between China and the rest. It is a little bit tricky, a little bit difficult to translate the Chinese to English in this case. Now, for sex workers, the system is called 收容教育. Now, if they are caught by police, many of the times they don't have to go through the judicial system. The police, they have the authority to just hold them for up to 2 years, and during that time they are required, by Western standard, you may say forced to work, to do some assembly work. Not only we have this kind of system, we have another system called 劳动教养制度. So 收容教养, 劳动教养, yeah, 劳动教养制度. The re-education through labor, I would say that you can call it re-education through labor, is for like petty crimes. Yeah. This is the a Chinese definition on Wikipedia about this crime. Labor, education, and cultivation. Now the system has been out of date. They eradicated, they abolished this system in 2013. Now this system was mainly for minor small crimes such as petty theft, prostitution, trafficking illegal drugs, and well as political dissidents, petitioners, and Falun Gong followers. So now not only you have 收容教育, and also you have this 劳动教养. So for the two cases, the perpetrators in this case, they don't go to the court. The police, they have the authority just to put you in the you can call it prison for 2 years without the trial. So earlier in 2013, they have abolished this system. So recently, they have abolished this system. There is some meaning lost during the translation. You can call it forced labor. Now, already even before earlier this system was abolished, they are not implemented strictly. The prostitutes and their clients, if they are found, maybe like for the first time, they will have to face 10 to 15 days of detention. For like severe or repeated offenses, they may have to be put into the prison for at most 2 years. But in my opinion, unless you are caught multiple, like 3, 4, 5 times, in other cases, they just detain you for like 10, 15 days. So prostitution remains illegal in China. They are not saying that we are making it illegal. No. It carries punishment for up to 15 days in detention and fined 5,000 yuan. The report includes interview with certain female workers. It claimed detainees were unable to learn new skills during the detention that could help them after their release. The report added that the detainees typically undertake manual labor. Here in this article, it also mentioned the re-education through labor camps. Now, this is the so-called 劳动教养. Re-education through labor. And now, when you see the word re-education, you probably think about the re-education centers in Xinjiang. That's two different things. Like I said, in translation, from Chinese to English, something is lost. Yeah, I think the system in this case for the sex workers is better be translated as custody and education. 收容 is to put you in the shelter in a certain place. Custody and education system. Yeah, it's mainly targeting sex workers and their clients. Earlier, there was a this actor this dude is interesting. So this dude is quite a famous actor. So here he called the hookers. He was found called hookers. So on May 16, 2014, Beijing Municipal Public Security announced that Huang was arrested on suspicion of hiring prostitutes, and then he was sentenced to 6 months. I think he is like the example of China's the so-called custody and education system. Is this system not just targeting like hookers? Is also targeting their clients. So in this case, he is the how do you say? Now you can't say that he's a victim. He's just the convicted felon. Or convicted perpetrator, right? So he just went into prison for 6 months for just hiring prostitutes, and he was caught only first time. Now, if these public figures, if it's caught the first time, they lost their job. It won't be the second time. So after that, he basically, there's no offer for him. He's basically out of the acting scene, the movie, the TV. So this is about this news. The third news, last news, it happened today. When I wake up, this news, I found this news. Zara, all the stores of Zara in Wuhan City was closed for allegedly firefighting issues. Here, now, I haven't found any English news about this. It may be because it happened very recently. So Zara in Wuhan, they have 4 stores. These 4 malls. The 4 stores in Wuhan all closed on December 28th. The reason why they are closed is because, according to the authority, they didn't pass the firefighting check, 消防检查. Now, when you see the comments, they all know, like the Chinese know, that the firefighting check is just a pretext for something you did wrong. Probably it has something to do with the Hong Kong protest. Zara was suspicious by Chinese netizens of supporting riots or supporting protesting. You can see from this news, during the protests, Zara, they closed their stores in Hong Kong. Some people say that they let their employees to participate in the protest, the strike. So Zara helped the anti-Chinese forces. So China, in retaliation, some local governments, they may take a hint from the government, from the central government. They close the stores by using excuses like firefighting. This is not the first time. Earlier, several years ago, when Korea annoyed China by installing the anti-missile system in South Korea, Lotte supermarket in China, not everybody, a lot of Chinese, they are boycotting, and a lot also the governments, they will do checks. They will see if your firefighting system is perfect, is working good. They will see if your staff, in a supermarket, you can easily find some errors, maybe like the labeling, the food, the self-owned food, the labeling or the packaging of the products. So we have seen a lot of news at that time. So finally, the Lotte group, they exited the Chinese market. They have how many, like dozens of supermarkets in China, across China. But just because Lotte sold the land to the U.S. or the Korea government, so that they could use that land to build the anti-missile system, right? Now, but after that incident, China's image globally is not that doing well. A lot of international companies, they feel that in China doing business is risky. Samsung, which is another South Korea company, international group cut their investments in China, and to now, until recently, even today, Samsung's investment in China is decreasing gradually, because they see like how easily their fellow companies could be like retaliated by the Chinese government. So they feel unsafe. They pull off their production and move to elsewhere. Now here on the comment section, you will see like this first one. Here is that the foreign investment environment improves constantly. It's like an irony. Here it said the door are closed because of firefighting. Why they don't close the store nearby? Now we all know, everybody knows this. Firefighting is just only a pretext. Alright, so that's what I have to say in today's video. So thanks for watching. Have a nice day. I'm out.